Hello and welcome to the live coverage of the Student Robotics 2023 Virtual Competition. Very happy to have you here. I'm Alistair Lynn. I'm going to be taking you through the events today. This is the start of the 2023 League. Challenge season is now over. Congratulations to all teams on doing your challenges, and competition season has arrived. First match coming up in about 10 minutes here live on stream. And with me to take you through all the exciting things that are happening today, Mr. Jake Howard. Jake, how you doing?
I'm doing very well. Yes, I'm very much looking forward to this. We have seen quite a lot of very impressive robots throughout the challenge section of the competition, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing how these challenges and how teams' code and strategy adapts into our virtual competition that we have running today. So, in that competition, obviously we are going to be playing a game of some kind. The game for this year's competition is called Greed. It is a 4-robot game, and there are plenty of tokens dotted around the arena. The idea is very simple. Get as many tokens into your scoring zone as possible. There are 3 colors of tokens. They're bronze, silver, and gold. Bronze tokens are worth 3 points, silver tokens are worth 12 points, and gold tokens are worth a massive 30 points. That's a lot of points, but there are much fewer gold tokens, being only 4 in the center of the arena. And they're also much bigger. Silver and bronze are the same size, but different weights, and the gold tokens are just bigger. So there's plenty of avenue for potential challenges and interesting robot designs and strategies as we move into this event. So, speaking of the robots, there are obviously 4 robots in the arena. Let's take a look at the virtual robots that teams are going to be using today. So, the simulator robot for all teams is exactly the same. The only difference is their color. The simulator robot has a camera on it, which can be used to recognize fiducial markers that are sat around the arena and on the tokens. The markers on the tokens are the same, so they can't use that to distinguish them necessarily, but they can at least use it to find them. Additionally, the robot has a grabber, which can be used to pick up tokens and move them around much more easily. We also have ultrasound sensors to measure distances. There are plenty of them dotted around the robot. We can see there's little blue squares with 2 little silver cylinders sticking out of them. That's an ultrasound sensor. So there's plenty of them on the robot in very useful places for them to orient themselves much more accurately than the camera may be able to. Additionally, there are pressure sensors. Like I say, the silver and bronze tokens, they are the same size, but they are different weights. And so being able to use a deployable pressure sensor gives teams the ability to weigh the tokens and work out which one is which more easily. And of course, because robots will inevitably drive headfirst into something, we have bump sensors that can be used to detect when a robot has driven straight first into something, which is almost certainly going to happen quite a lot throughout the course of today. So, the event today takes the form of matches. Alistair, what do these matches look like exactly?
Excellent question. There will be 20 matches today between the 20 teams that actually submitted for the virtual competition. Thank you to all those who have submitted. Unfortunately, that's quite a few league points missed out for those of you who didn't, but that's not necessarily going to end your chances. And we look forward to seeing you at the physical competition. But for those who are here today, those 20 teams, there will be 20 matches, with the first one starting in about 10 minutes. The schedule of matches is up on our website, studentrobotics.org. That's studentrobotics.org. And first match will be between Barton Peveril, Colliers, Eltham, and Godalming. The scores after each match we will announce on stream, obviously. They will then be up on our website shortly, not instantaneously, but shortly after the end of each match. Support-wise, Mr. Jake.
Yes. So throughout the day, obviously, teams last night, they submitted their code to us, and since then, between now, there is no chance for resubmission. Their code is done, the matches are run. What happens, happens. So if you would like some support between now and the rest of the competition, or just want to generally chat and socialize with the hosts, the fellow blue shirts, and your fellow competitors, how can you do that? Well, easiest place is on the YouTube chat, which I think because of video mirroring is this way. In there, you'll be able to talk to, we have various blue shirts in there, there's anyone else watching the stream, and both Alistair and myself are keeping an eye on that in case you want to tell us particularly entertaining things. Similarly as well, there is the Discord. We've seen huge uptake in using the Discord throughout the entire competition this year. It's been fantastic to see the engagement between competitors and blue shirts and competitors from completely different teams just trying to move towards one common goal of building particularly interesting robots. And there's plenty of blue shirts and competitors in there if you want to have a chat. And of course, the one place I will keep saying that you can get help from, and that is the docs. That contains all the information you should possibly need about how the simulator works, how the API works. It's got our rules in it. It's got some of the boards and components works. And in general, you should find everything that you need in there. And speaking of things that you need to hear this message about our sponsors. Student Robotics is a charity, and so we cannot do what we do without the support of our fantastic sponsors. They provide us with the support and the resources to be able to do what we do, whether that's the in-person competitions coming up in the beginning of April, whether that's physical tech days or the actual the kit resources to actually help you build your robots. They're massively important to us, and so I would like to thank in particular Ares Robotics, Adventurous Machines, IT Dev, and the University of Southampton. So, Alistair, I've heard a rumor that we have some matches coming up today. How exactly are we going to know how teams are performing throughout this competition?
One interesting and very precisely worded question, Mr. Jake. Well,
I'm full of those.
The matches will be feeding into our league. There are 20 points available in each match, 8-point league points for the robot that comes first, 6 for the one that comes second, 4 for the one that comes third, and 2 for the one that comes fourth. The status of the league will be up on our website. Currently, there are some teams with 16, some with 8, and some with none. These are the league points that they got earlier for completing the challenges. This table will no doubt look very different by the end of the day. Ones to watch here, obviously, we have a 12-way tie for first place in the league right now. So difficult to call a winner as things stand immediately. But there are some really key teams to watch here. Who do you think the big highlight is? For me, or normally in these circumstances I might have said Hills Road, but surprisingly they didn't submit a robot today.
No, so I do have a highlight I do want to call out, but it is based on a little bit of quote insider information.
Oh, all right, yeah. What's your information here then, mate?
Yes. So what this is last week we ran a dry run of this live event, and with that we actually said to teams, if you'd like to submit your robots so you can confirm they work correctly in the production environment, and we can give you the logs, then do. And so we actually had 3 teams submit code there. So we actually know, at least the information is a week out of date, but we do know what 3 of the robots look like. And I have to say, the robot from Haberdashers is, for lack of a better word, just absolutely fantastic. The military grade precision that they were able to use to actually get tokens out of their opponent's scoring zones very reliably and actually very quickly means they're one that I'm going to be keeping a very, very close eye on as we move into these matches.
Intriguing. So you've actually seen some of these robots before?
You were there as well, my friend.
Was I? That doesn't sound likely. You think I'd show up to a rehearsal and get COVID?
And give it to everyone else?
Very likely. Right, so they're ones to watch. Anyone else? I'm kind of curious to see what comes out of Godalming, because I've seen the code for their approach today, and I'm very interested to know how it performs.
Yes, we're not going to tell you how exactly it works, because obviously that's revealing insider secrets that we don't want to do. We're just going to say it's an interesting idea. If you're watching and you're from Godalming, very well done. We like your ideas. I mean, I can't really say
that's a new one on us.
Yeah, can't really say any more than that. It's an idea.
No, what we can say is that coming up in match number 1, we will find out, because they are in the yellow zone, alongside Eltham in the magenta, which is definitely not pink,
It's
whatever
pink.
anyone else on this call might say.
Pink.
And Colliers, who will be appearing in the orange zone, and rounding out the group, Barton Peveril, who will be appearing in green this round. About
Yes,
30
these are going to
seconds
be
to go for the
very,
start
very interesting.
of first match number 1. And I don't know, Barton Peveril were mainstays of Student Robotics for many years, as are Colliers. Jake was actually ex-Colliers competitor. I think Colliers may be the ones to watch here, but I guess we'll find out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and off we go with this first match. Out goes Eltham, actually. They are the ones to watch, apparently, as it is. They grab a gold. Eltham going for the gold strategy, and they do it as well. First gold in the first match. That was a very impressive performance. Colliers going down there. They get a token. It's a bronze, but they're moving quite slowly with it. A very slightly peculiar movement from them. Godalming, they are scoring points, but they appear to be scoring points for Colliers. It's an interesting strategy. Eltham going for more golds, their own gold this time, but they are moving it out there. Not sure if that was an intentional strategy or not. Limited signs of movement, unfortunately, from Barton Peveril there. They're sitting in the zone of Eltham, but not quite clear what they're doing. Eltham doing a backwards victory dance of some kind, holding that gold token.
Yeah, I can't say I'm entirely sure what the Eltham robot is doing there. They've clearly grabbed a gold token, but they're just driving it. Granted, they're driving it around their scoring zone. So long as they can actually stop when the clock hits 0 with the gold token still inside their scoring zone, then fantastic, great points to them. But given the sporadic nature of their movement, I don't know how accurately they're going to be able to do that.
Yeah, they've got that gold in their zone at the moment, and that will sit them in a pretty good stead, which I suspect will get them this match. Not quite. Oh, that's interesting. They've just bumped into the Barton Peveril robot. Maybe that's dislodged things. We'll see how the Barton Peveril robot responds, but it certainly made them change their strategy. They're now going for a bronze. Yep, and they get that bronze back in there. Is this now? They're now switching up to a strategy of grabbing bronzes. Possibly that was based on time. I'm not entirely sure.
No, but at least it's nice to see them moving, doing things constructive rather than just driving around our arena with a gold token, hoping that that's how you claim points. I'm afraid to say it isn't.
Well, they grab a phantom token there, but you can see what they're going for, right? Yeah, they go and get a silver there from the corner of Godalming. Eltham was not the ones I was expecting to look out for this match, but they're actually doing really well.
Yeah, and I mean, we mentioned before with the Godalming robot, and sadly, it looks like it's there in the top of our arena, just staring straight at arena marker number 4. I don't know what it is that's quite so engaging about the number 4, but whatever it is, the Godalming colleague is absolutely loving it.
It ticks off their senses that they are definitely using.
Yes, it does. And there we are, the match hit 0.
So Eltham College, unsurprisingly, takes that match there with 112 points. A very impressive score from them, with 89 from Colliers, 64 from Godalming, and 59 from Barton Peveril there.
That is a lot of points. We're not used to seeing points scored with numbers quite this high in the past. Usually it's like, you scored 7 game points. This is, oh look, even team right at the bottom, Barton Peveril, 59 game points. Those are big numbers.
A lot of game points in it.
It does. By the design of the match, this is quite a lot of points. So we're going to see some very, very big numbers, from the end of this competition, but also into as we move into the physical competition when there are far more matches than we have today. We're going to get very big numbers.
Yeah. So coming up next, we've got Haberdashers in the green. Hampton, they'll be in zone number 1. Headington, they are in the pink corner. And we've got Harris, Westminster appearing in yellow in this match.
Yes, this is going to be very, very interesting. Like I say, Haberdash is the one I'm particularly interested to see, and they're positioned up in the green corner. And off they go, as we can see, very quick up the line, grabbing their very first bronze token straight in less than 5 seconds. Fantastic performance. Now, the Hampton robot, they've gone straight for the gold. That's a very interesting strategy and does allow them to claim a very large number of points very, very quickly. Whilst they are harder to get to, these gold tokens, that is a very interesting strategy of just going for maximum points as quick as possible. And here, in fact, they're trying to grab 2 bronze tokens at once, again, trying to be more efficient. Now, sadly, it looks like they're not quite able to orient themselves back towards their home zone because they are diagonally opposite it, but it's still a very quick performance from them. Now, the Harris Westminster robot in the yellow there is trying to steal a bunch of Haberdashers' tokens. Sadly, they were able to grab quite a few, but now they're almost trapped in the enormity of the number of tokens that the Haberdashers robot has been able to take. Now, it looks like the Haberdashers robot is having a bit of a problem at the top corner of our arena there, where there are some bronze and silver tokens obscured by the gold token there. So I'll have to see if they're quite able to get to those. In the meantime, there are lots and lots of tokens sitting down by the Hamptons team's robot there. It's pushing over the line a little bit, but let's see if that will happen. They've got a minute left now to get as many points as they can into their scoring zone.
Limited signs of life from Headington School, and they've now got Harris Westminster attached to the back, a sort of robot centipede type arrangement. Unclear if they're going to be able to dislodge themselves here, but fingers crossed. It certainly looks like there's an awful lot of tokens up in Haberdashers now, which is looking fairly good for them right now.
I think
30
you're right.
seconds to go.
Yes, 30 seconds to go. And we can see Hamptons there trying to push some bronze tokens out from Headington School scoring zone, hopefully into theirs. They just missed that silver token and weren't quite able to grab it. And we can see they clearly thought they had it, but I'm afraid not. It's one of these elusive ghost or phantom tokens that we see in plenty of our competitions, causing troubles for our teams once again.
Well, this is a really strong performance from Haberdashers right here.
It really is. There's 4 seconds left of this match. Will they be able to get this final bronze token? No, not quite. Just as the clock hits 0. Huge number of tokens there in the Haberdash scoring zone. That's got to be well over half of them. Well over.
Yeah, that's pretty surprising.
That is 146 game points for Haberdashers. That's a big number.
Yeah, that's an incredibly impressive performance. There's actually quite a few. There's still 6 league points compared to the 8 Haberdashers have, which is a good reminder of that you don't need to. It doesn't matter how well you do. The thing that matters is doing better than everyone else. So coming up next, we have Kegs. They'll be in green. They will be facing off against MAI, LGS, and CLY. And we've got that match will be starting in about 15 seconds here. 15 seconds to go to match number 2 between Kegs, between Langley, Gymnasium Markendorf, and Colliers. And off they go. Immediate movement out from all of them. MAI moving over to grabbing 2 tokens at once. Very greedy. 2 tokens at once strategy we also see from Langley there, who sort of are toying with them. They let them go, they grab them again, they let them go. Not quite sure what the strategy was there. Slower, steadier movement from Colliers over on the left there. They're going and grabbing one at a time from the zone of our friends at Kegs. But all may be lost for them because the tokens they're bringing back immediately grabbed by Gymnasium Markendorf, who are doing some stealing of their own. Not quite sure what they're doing. MAI are lined up down there in the bottom left corner. Kegs moving about, see if they can get themselves out of this situation. They're spinning there slightly up at the top. See if they can grab one of these tokens. It's all slowed down over the last 20 seconds. It was a very quick start, but it appears to have slowed.
Yeah, we can just see there the Kegs robot very slowly spinning around in their corner. It's not obvious what it is they're trying to do. It's possible that their strategy doesn't account for the fact that there is currently a silver token in their arms, and just as I say that, they spring back into life, giving tokens to their opponent. Not the best of strategies, but I guess it's a strategy nonetheless.
Well, we've got some slightly jerky movement, but still signs of life from Kegs. They do have 2 tokens in their jaws. See if they can line themselves back up with their zone. Yes, they do. They get those points back in. So that's extra points scored for our friends at Kegs. Colliers very slowly pushing up against that middle wall. Can they get past it? Possibly yes, possibly no. They seem to be somewhat caught on the edge of that central pedestal area.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see. With 37 seconds left, can they get the token over? Yes, they can. Fantastic. That's an extra 3 game points for them.
Well, Kegs, I wasn't sure about their robustness because, yeah, their code is just one gigantic file, but it seems to be working for them. Like, yeah, we've got some slightly odd movement from them, but here they are, all the way into this match.
Oh, that's pushing a lot of tokens over their line.
Once, like it's not even a problem.
Whether it's accidental or not, we will never know. It probably was.
Colliers have the chance to maybe get that one in the last 3 seconds. Oh!
Now, is that over the line? Let's pass over to a quick shot. To me...
Yep, that's in both.
That's in both.
Well. All right. Well, at the end of that match, Kegs take it with 109 points. Followed by Gymnasium Mark Dinderstoff with 85. And then Colliers in the bronze with 76. Great performance.
That was a very interesting match. We're seeing some quite varying strategies coming out from the robots. It's not just a let's empty this token, this scoring zone first and then move on to the next. Some, it seems a bit more random and sporadic. Some, apparently in some cases, are going straight for the gold, which is an interesting way of doing things. So I think it'll be interesting to see how exactly this moves into some of the future matches. Exactly how we're going to progress with those.
Definitely. Speaking of future matches, coming up next, we have Headington. They'll be facing off against Peter Simmons, making their first appearance, Queen Mary's College, and Royal Grammar School.
Yes, these are going to be these are typically, in the physical competitions anyway, very high scoring teams. I'm expecting quite a lot out of their physical robots, particularly given they're all going to be in one match. Let's see how they go. All robots off to very, very quick starts. We have the Peter Simmons robot quickly grabbing a token. Headington going straight for the gold again. Oddly enough, pushing it deeper into their opponent's scoring zone. As I say that, they move it straight over the line. But there we go. That is 20 game points for them. Fantastic. As well, we actually have the Queen Mary's colleagues doing a very similar thing, taking RGS Guildford's token, moving it straight into theirs, another 20 game points. And as they do, they take a silver and a gold token with them. Very, very strong performances from them. Now, RGS Guildford, they're slowly taking some tokens, which look like they're about to be stolen again by the Queen Mary's College robot. Oh, and just as the Queen Mary's College robot turns, move the tokens out of their grabbing arms, so they're only able to take one across that line.
This is our first match where we've seen multiple teams managing to get those 30 points for the gold. So this is going to be quite a high scoring one. Unfortunate about that collision that's now occurred at the left side of the screen.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate. The RGS and HSO team robots are just intertwined with each other. It looks like there might be a small amount of vibrating going on, potentially as their motors are trying to decouple themselves, but sadly no, they might be knotted up and they've got a minute left to try and score some points. I mean, fortunately, particularly in Headington's case, they do have a lot of points, but you can always have more.
Indeed. Oh, that looked like it was going to get even spicier over there. But no, it's just the Queen Mary's College robot going and doing some collecting, casually getting stuck on the wall.
Taking full advantage of the fact that 2 robots are completely stuck. And now, whilst, as you say, they are stuck on the wall by the looks of it, those 2 tokens are at least they're giving some points to RGS Guildford, potentially in some form of oh, I'm sorry that the Headington robot has pinned you up against the wall. Let me give you some tokens in pity. Whilst it's a very kind gesture, QMC, you might want to not be quite so kind and just get tokens for yourself. That's how you win points.
I mean, all four of these teams have been previous winners or second place in years gone by. So I think they all know what they're doing. To some extent, he says, while they all stop moving.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate that we do tend to see robots sort of stop potentially before the end. Now, we did see, while we were reviewing teams' code yesterday after the submission date, there were quite a few teams that they had some very interesting code, but it just sort of stops after a certain point, potentially because they've not fully developed their strategy, or they haven't quite been able to develop exactly what happens after that. So I think we'll be able to see hopefully we'll see some more improvement as we move into the physical competition.
So let's take a quick look at some details from this match that's just gone. So what we have there is yellow and green robots fighting over that silver token. It was all that tussle, but who gets the points there? Well, it depends which robot is holding it. And the finding is it is actually held there by green, which is not quite obvious from the long shot that we had during the match. But yes, green gets the points for that token.
Yes, that is because whilst the token is fairly clearly in the other scoring zone, it's because the green is in control of the token that it becomes their token. It's worth fewer points, but it's still at least worth some points to them rather than going to their opponent.
Coming up next, we have Sherborne making their first appearance. They'll be facing off against St Olave's and Barton Peveril, and they'll be facing off against Tiffin School in the yellow. And off they go. Again, immediate movement out of all of them. That looks very much like a lining up to a gold from Sherborne. Not quite sure where they're going for there. This is their mysterious protect gold strategy, isn't it, that we saw in the code. As to the others, well, Barton Peveril now gently turning on the spot. Tiffin School, not quite sure. They've moved out of their starting zone and lining up on something, but it's not quite clear what yet. Sherborne, they're going straight for that other gold. They are the gold team, the team that's going for the gold strategy, and appears to be working for them so far. If they can get that back to their home area, which they're caught on that wall, might be a bit dicey, but we'll see. No, they're happy to just leave that gold in the territory of St Olave's.
They've moved it very slightly. That's something.
Yep, it counts-ish. I mean, not in a useful way, but it does count. So we have St Olave's there. They're getting tokens. They're getting tokens out of Barton Peveril's zone, and they are getting them home. Like, slow and steady wins the race. They're getting those silvers there. Those are worth more points. So they're doing quite well here, to the disadvantage of Barton Peveril, who are continuing to rotate quite slowly. Tiffin School, I'm not quite sure what to make of them, because there seems to be long periods where they don't really do anything, but they're not dead.
No, it's very slow signs of life out of them, but sadly those big lulls of just not doing anything just gives other robots plenty of opportunity to sort of drive around them and steal the tokens they've spent so long trying to gather.
Yeah, it's tricky. Well, I mean, Sherborne's now going for what looks to be a pretty reliable grab a token and bring it home, just straight up fetch quest strategy, and they appear to be doing quite well at it. I'm not quite sure, though, who's actually in the lead right now.
No, this is the problem with all the varying weights of tokens. It's just one token in the wrong place can massively shift the layout of the entire thing, particularly given that we've got at least some of the golds in play. Now, it does look like at least there is one gold in each scoring zone, which is at least means they're even, but Sherborne School have clearly trying to potentially go for a gold first strategy.
Yeah, are they going to be able to get that silver back into their zone in the last... No, they're not. Oh well.
No, not quite. Oh, that's a shame.
They did a really good performance of managing to dislodge their own gold, which is something that they are doing deliberately, we know. So their code is clearly working on some level. They didn't quite manage to get the gold from their neighbours that time, but perhaps they will next time. That'll be an interesting strategy to look out for. There's a lot more gold grabbing going on here than I kind of expected. For completeness, Tiffin School wins that round with 97. St Olave's 89, Sherborne 77, and Barton Peveril end with 48. And coming up next, we have Langley, we have Headington, we have Godalming, and we have the Ladies' College.
Yes, these are, again, some very high-performing teams that we have seen in the past. We have a second appearance from Headington School, moving from corner 0 into corner 1. And so I'm silently optimistic that this, well, it's not particularly silently, I'm saying it on a live stream on the internet, but I'm optimistic this one could be a very interesting match. So we have, in the green, we have Team LGS, we have HSO in the orange, Godalming School in the yellow, and the Ladies' College Guernsey in yellow.
Headington have an interesting trick on how they distinguish the different token types.
Yeah, this is an interesting strategy. Like I said earlier, they are the same, but they're using the height off the floor to distinguish whether a token is gold or bronze or silver, because the tokens themselves are the same size, but because the gold token's bigger, it's still central, and so it sits in the middle. So as we move into match number 5, we're seeing 2 robots going straight for stealing the gold. We have Headington School and we have the Ladies' College Guernsey straight in for the gold, straight captured. Now, whilst Headington were able to do it without interruption, the Ladies' College Guernsey was interrupted by Godalming College's robot, which appears to be trying to steal their gold token back. Oh, we appear to have lost the video footage. Here we go, and we're back. 1 minute left. There we go. And as Headington team crosses over the line, giving some points to Langley Grammar School. Now, can they orient those back? No, they just dropped it, but they might be able to push these 2 tokens over the line. Yes, one of them is. Sadly, however, another one is just on that line. I can't tell quite from here. It looks like it probably is in both scoring zones, but we'll find out later on as to exactly whether that is the case, because in a minute and a half, there is still plenty of time for tokens to move in varying ways around the arena.
I'm wondering what's going on with that central gold token from Godalming. Like, are they trying to push it over?
I don't know. That's an interesting strategy. It's theoretically possible, but we did see in their previous matches that they were focusing in a previous one. They were just staring straight at arena wall marker number 4. I'm wondering if it's the same kind of thing where their code has stopped and they're just facing this gold token, and sadly not quite able to push it over the central pedestal.
Well, it's hard to determine exactly what they're doing based on the way that they chose to write them, which is, as I say, unique and quite clever, but also quite penetrable.
Yeah, now, sadly, there's 20 seconds left of this match, and there is not much in terms of signs of life coming from, well, any robot here. We've got the Ladies' College Guernsey surrounded by tokens, in particular a gold one, which gives them 2 in their scoring zone, which is fantastic. Godalming College is just, again, staring at one of these gold tokens, having come kind of face-off. And in the top, we had Langley Grammar School and Headington surrounded by a good number of tokens, but not huge amounts of movement, which is unfortunate. And so the win for that match actually goes to the Ladies' College Guernsey. That is 110 game points, narrowly missed by Godalming School, actually, with 109. That's 1 game point, which separated first place and second place. And so that shows that even by the nature of this match, 1 point can be enough to skew and move you from first place into second place.
Yeah, and then 70 points each for third and fourth. So coming up in match number 6, we've got Hamptons, we've got MAI, we've got St Olave's, and we have Peter Simmons rounding out the group in the yellow. Hamptons going for a really nice state machine type design rather than going for a recipe design. State machines as a system tend to be a lot more robust. We'll see if that bears out for them again this time around. Fingers crossed. They'll be going up against previous winners MAI. St Olave's also going for similar structure. We'll talk about them later. But for me, the ones to look out for this match, I'm going to be keeping an eye on Hamptons.
Yeah, they're sitting quite high up in our league. This could be interesting.
And off they go, straight out there. St. Olave's going and getting the first points there. MAI moving somewhat slower, but they grab 4 at once. That is just greedy. Gold grab there by Peter Simmons. Not quite sure what they're going for with pushing it over the line. I suspect they might have been slightly misaligned there, which is a little unfortunate. MAI grabbing and having them immediately grabbed from by Hamptons. We'll see how Hamptons performs against MAI here. St. Olave seems to have frozen up now, so we seem to have lost signs of life, unfortunately, from St. Olave's there, as well as from MAI. Yeah, this is, I mean, like we said before the start of the match, this is the value of a state machine. It's robust. Hamptons just carrying on doing their thing. Keep going, get some points. Do in a loop, score some points. Go in a loop, score some more points. They're just going to very slowly and steadily drain out the zone of Peter Simmons here, if they can.
I think that's one of the additional values of a state machine is that generally, as long as you don't have a termination state, it will just keep going.
Yeah.
It'll try and it should be very easy to just like, even if it gets lost to itself, just work out where it is, reset your state, and then just continue. Yeah. It's a very robust way of just, if all else is lost, just go, what state am I probably in? And go from there. Even if that's, where am I? What can I see? Go.
It's getting a little confused now. Like it's pushing that, it's playing with its food. But like once it's dropped that off, just goes back to the loop, goes back to the old state, search for a token, grab it. Kind of interested to see the others have stopped. Not sure what the strategy is here. Presumably some termination around. There have been quite a few teams where the code does kind of end at some point, which is
it's not ideal to see. No, we kind ideal. Of like no, particularly if that happens well before the end of the match, because that's still plenty of time for them to actually be able to go and score some points.
Yeah, and there we go. Yeah, really good performance from Hampton there. That's why you build things to be robust, right? I mean, not the other teams did badly. I saw some really good performance from that, particularly that early steal there by MAI.
Now, I do want to have a quick punch in on the Peter Simmons robot, if we can. It's hard to tell. Oh, that... I think that means they are... Is the gold token in 2 zones?
No, it's not.
Not quite. It is just in the 1.
And so at the end of that match, MAI take the points. 103, as it turns out.
That's a lot of points. That is a huge number of points. And then Peter Simmons on 83. And then Hamptons and St. Olave's towards the bottom. So, match number 6, it sounds like we are getting ready. No, that number's slightly off. We are getting ready for match number 7. There we go, as it comes in. We have Queen Mary's College in the green. We have Godalming College in the orange. We have Team WMC in the pink. And I will campaign that it is pink. It is not magenta. And then in the yellow, we have Team HAB, Team Haberdashers. Now, QMC scored very, very high last time. Let's see if they'll be able to repeat this performance as we enter match number 7. There we go. Very quick movement off the line there from all robots, actually, all moving in a clockwise direction. We have the Haberdashers robot nicely grabbing some tokens there. Very, very quick. Queen Mary's College going straight to the gold, stealing Godalming College's gold token, giving them a huge number of points. Now, there's a bit of a tussle there coming from the pink and orange robots, as they seem to both go for each other and then the gold. But WMC are the team that are actually able to grab it, dislodging it from the corner. Are they able to get it back into their scoring zone? No, not quite. They lost contact with it. Can they reorient themselves? I don't know. We will see. And we have the Queen Mary's Robot College there nicely. We could see a little bit of a jostle there, but actually that was them lining up towards the face of the token correctly, so they could grab it with absolute precision and capture it into their scoring zone. That's 1 bronze token for them.
Oh, look
They
at
just-
that! We've actually got the gold token perfectly balanced up there.
That's on the raised platform.
Yeah, it is.
That's interesting. We've not seen that yet. This will be very interesting as to how exactly that affects the point score. I believe that just still counts as inside potentially the green scoring zone, but that might be in the yellow.
I'm feeling somewhat sorry for WMC here. They're about to get their last low value token
stolen by the haberdashers.
By haberdashers who are just
slowly but efficiently, and it's gone.
Yeah,
45 seconds left.
Just haberdashers doing haberdashers things.
Haberdashing. I don't know. One of those.
Haberdashers gonna have a dash?
Let's go with that, yes. So, we have, as you say, WMC, they're currently now just spinning around. There's plenty of tokens there. I think maybe that's sort of, they're just spinning around, crying, maybe having a bit of a hissy fit, like, wow, all my tokens have vanished. What am I going to do? But there's tokens right there. Come on, you can steal those. You've got 10 seconds. Or you can potentially try and get in QMC's way to try and steal their tokens. Now, again, they've got a lot of tokens in their starting zone. That's a huge pool of tokens sat there with a goal.
That was it. That ended up being a very unbalanced token distribution by the end of that match. Very impressive performances there. So the end of that match,
but 166 points for haberdashers. That's a big number. QMC, they were in second. It was slightly further down, but 142 game points. That's huge. And so we're up here now. We have heading to school. They have 214 game points, sitting right at the top of our league. Now, because we're only partway through the competition and the virtual competition so far, these numbers, you can't necessarily correlate them quite yet because teams will have had different numbers of matches. But it's still currently, at least, Headington are sitting at the top of our league.
Yes, they are. Coming up next, we have Tiffin. TFS, they'll be facing off against Kegs, and they'll be against RGS, and they'll be against Hampton School. So RGS are going for a somewhat more fixed strategy. They're trying to grab a couple of tokens and then going in for the golds. So we'll see if that works out for them. Keep an eye out for RGS's gold grabbing antics in this match number 8 coming up in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and off they go. Immediately out, slightly slow movement from RGS. We get a gold fairly quickly from Hampton, though, grabbing Tiffin's gold. South they go. I told you to watch out for the gold. I just got the team wrong, as it turns out. Kegs moving slowly. They're aligning there on those bronzes, presumably. They'll head south. They grab one, and they bring it back. A little bit of a tussle going on down there in the bottom corner. There's a tussle over a bronze between Hampton and RGS. Little sketchy here. They're pushing into each other. They really both want that bronze. Hopefully both of them will have some back off code, which they'll be able to use to deal with the fact that they're not grabbing it and try something else. But right now it's a real tussle. Tiffin School, unfortunately, limited signs of movement from them. They're backed up into that wall, but they don't appear to be doing much else. Kegs, they're pushing away. They're just slowly grabbing and grabbing and grabbing. They have a lot to overcome if they want to overcome the fact that Hampton's managed to grab that gold so early on. That gives them a big points advantage. But slow and steady can still win the race here.
Yeah, now the way Tiffin School Robot work is particularly interesting. The way they're doing marker detection is they're actually diving slightly deeper into the API of our simulator than we necessarily had exposed to them, reading the raw pixel data out of their camera and using that to determine where the actual tokens are in the viewport they can see, which is theoretically slightly slower and may not be as accurate as using marker detection, but it's very, very good at being actually able to distinguish whether it's a bronze one or a silver one, because they have the same marker on, but they are actually different colors, as we can see, and the robots can see that as well.
Yeah. It's a tricky one to pull off in a physical competition because lighting makes such a difference. But in the context of the simulator, it is a quite clever trick. Yeah.
Yeah, it's much more perfect lighting in the simulator. In the real world, we're going to have lots of washes and shadows and everything else. Within the simulator, it's much more. It's going to be exactly the same in every single match.
Kegs is doing quite well here. They've got a lot of bronzes. As a reminder, bronzes are worth 3 points in this game, silver's 12, and gold's a whopping 30. Speaking of which, there's that gold grab from RGS, and they get it with 5 seconds to go. They really want to just catch us at the last minute there. 5 seconds to go. Last minute gold grab by RGS there. Wow.
Well, we did say that their strategy was get some tokens, then go for the gold, and they did exactly that.
We did. I told you they were the ones to watch, and I should have followed my own advice there. That grab won them the match.
Well, let's have a look. Is Pink still in contact with that token? Yes. So that means that by our rules, that token is in the robot, not in the arena. Which means sadly it is only worth 1/3.
Yeah,
its
so
actual
only
points.
10 points for that gold token, which still, to be fair, wins them the match.
It does. It's still a very healthy 101 game points. But even if we'd had a second longer on the clock, they could have opened their arms, and the value of that token would have quite literally tripled.
Coming up next, we have Colliers. They'll be facing off against Harrius Westminster. They'll be facing off against Sherborne, and they'll be facing off against QMC. Sherborne, another gold-focused team. Perhaps keep an eye on them. Colliers, historically strong. But, yeah, Colliers not been doing all that well so far today. So
no, I kind of feel somewhat let down as a Colliers alumni, but let's see. We move into match number 9 now. So very quick movement off the line there. Harris Westminster moving the gold further into their scoring zone. Whilst that may make it harder for another team to find, it does make it marginally easier to grab onto. But at the same time, we actually have Queen Mary's Colliers going straight for the gold. They've stolen Colliers' gold straight into their scoring zone. That's a lot of gold in their scoring zone, and quite a of points to go along with it. Now, Colliers are stealing, by the looks of it, a bronze token from the Harris Westminster robot, very slowly moving across that line. I don't know exactly what's going on. It looked like they were somehow trying to strafe on 2 wheels, which definitely is not possible. And as they get a bit of a tussle from the Queen Mary's Colliers robot, they slowly let go of it. And there, again, the very slow movement. Now, whilst the matches are fairly long, it's not an infinite amount of time. They do need to get a move on. Got a minute and a half left of this match. Let's see what they can do with it. And in the meantime, we have the Queen Mary's Colleagues robot slowly trying to take tokens out of Colliers' scoring zone. They're going for 2 at a time now. 1 bronze, 1 silver. It's a lot of game points. But
I do like those double grabs.
It does make it very entertaining. I can only assume it's probably accidental, but I'm going to err on the side of they entirely meant to do this.
I mean, QMC are a good team. They've been doing this a long time.
They are. I've been informed that they've actually named their robot in this competition. From looking at the code, it appears they've named their robot Rich.
Rich the robot.
Don't know why, but it's Rich the robot. I approve of the alliteration. Very much liking that.
Oh, bit of a tussle going on there.
Bit of a tussle there, yeah. Fighting over a silver token. It would appear Queen Mary, they could have gone for that bronze, but no, they decided they want that one. No other one will do. They want that silver token and that silver token only. Is that bouncing over that line? I can't tell from here.
Oof, yeah, that's really close. I think
that is really close.
Close to a finish.
Yeah, there's 13 seconds. Someone could just nudge it on that line. Let's see.
And it's another tussle.
Lots and lots of tussles. Lots of tussles going on in these matches. It's almost like some of the robots might be like aggressive or not particularly happy with each other.
It's a really mean robot.
Indeed. Now what I want to do is I want to have a look at that token. Where does it sit? That's in both. That is just, and that is one corner over that line.
Yeah, just
Now-
handing those extra points to Harris Westminster there.
Yes. Now, another thing to note is that Harris Westminster actually never left their scoring zone, which means they don't get a free point for just leaving their scoring zone. So they don't get the movement point.
No,
That's a very
they do
easy
get
one.
4 league points out though.
Yeah, it's a very easy one to forget, but they didn't get that scoring zone. But they did get 75 game points, which is a big number.
Yeah. So it was, but the winners there outright were Queen Mary's with 143 points, followed by Sherborne with 82 in that round.
It's taking a lot to get used to these massively high game point numbers in these matches. We're used to seeing 7, 10 small numbers. Here's 143.
Speaking of
big numbers.
Coming up, we've got Peter Simmons. They'll be facing off against the Ladies' College, Barton Peveril, and notably Haberdashers, who have been doing really very, very well so far. Let's see if they can repeat that performance here. All 4 teams straight out. They do manage to at least 3 of them get out of their starting zones. Barton Peveril moving slightly oddly. They're turning in a circle, not quite sure what they're doing. TLC, they do go for a gold. They grab it quickly and they bring it home. That's those 30 points for that gold straight into the budget of the Ladies' College. But it's all not good news for the Ladies' College, because next to them are Haberdashers, slowly draining out their starting area, as they tend to do with great rapidity. So despite the fact that TLC got off to a fantastic start there, grabbing those 30 points very early on, Haberdashers, they're having none of it. Peter Simmons up there, they seem to be slightly caught on that central wall. Unfortunately, he didn't have the opportunity to build a cable tie flail, as there won't for this. Oh, hello! We have a... What was that from Haberdashers? Haberdashers is like, no, TLC. No, you can't have that. You can't have that gold token. We're just going to replace it back to where it originally was, and then go back to as if you hadn't moved at all. I mean, they're not even scoring points for that. The points for that gold token go back to their original owners, Barton Pev. Haberdashers just being really, really disrespectful there.
It's just being mean to the Ladies' College Guernsey there. It's just some kind of just lol note.
Yeah, I mean, Haberdashers are so good, man. I mean, look at this. They're just styling on them at this point.
It's almost boring. Almost, in a sense. It's just, oh yes, they've emptied a zone. Fantastic. Now I would.
You thought you were getting points. You're not getting points.
Lol.
Nope.
Nah. Just teasing Barton Peveril there with that goal. Just no, you have it back. The Ladies' College, they're getting none. And it looks like as well, just outside the Ladies' College scoring zone, Haberdashers there doing a little bit of a dance, just to say, lol, that one's done. Yeah. Now let's empty Peter Simmons.
right. That's that problem solved. Now, Peter Simmons, you exist, and that offends me.
You have tokens. Let me change that.
Here, let me unburden you from those tokens which you've been carrying around everywhere.
It's a big problem having all these tokens. I mean, in reality, just think of it, Haberdashers, they're just trying to clean up. That's all. We as Student Robotics, we just littered these cubes around the arena, and they went, nah, I'm going to put them in this corner.
Oh, what a team. What a team.
What a team.
140 points. Yeah, we'll grab that.
How can you argue with that? 140 game points.
Yeah.
The team in second has 81 in Barton Peveril. That's almost double. Not quite, but almost.
Yeah.
60 points.
So coming up, we've got Godalming, we have Sherborne, we have Kegs, and we have WGS. Godalming, I think we can probably reveal at this point what Godalming had done. Godalming, it seems, recorded, possibly with like a joystick or a keyboard, a series of set movements, recorded what the motors did, and are just playing it back every match.
That's it.
It's basically just hit play on the I was about to say hit play on the VCR and show my age here, mate.
A little bit.
Play on the whatever it is the kids use to play those movies these days, and just trying to play it back. It doesn't quite work because you can't just do that, because there is noise and uncertainty, but I admire the moxie. It's an interesting strategy.
They are definitely trying it. Let's see if again in this match it can work out for them. They're driving it. What's interesting I do find about their movement is it doesn't look like there's a human operator behind it. It's just driving.
Yeah.
Which I mean is entirely great. It's a robot that's driving. In this case, they just have it out for the Wisbeaks Grammar School robot driving straight into it.
Yeah.
Now they're trying to orient towards that goal. Now, from looking at the code, they don't have access to the grabber. The only thing that their code does is movement. It's the motors. That's it.
Push a man.
They can't use the grabbers. They have no other input. Now, one of our volunteers actually asked, "Does this count as remote control?" And we concluded no, on the basis of A, it's before the fact, although you could argue if time is a fourth dimension, it's still kind of remote. But we also concluded
remote control is
yes, but we also concluded because there is no feedback loop into what's happening, it's not control, it's just pre-recorded stuff. It's no different to Dead Reckoning, which is a strategy that so many of our teams use.
In this match, Sherborne would appear to have 2 gold tokens in their scoring zone there.
That's a lot of points. That's a lot of points.
That is several. Literally multiple points. But Kegs have got, it looks like one of their bronzes and are trying to work out how to get back home there. I think what Kegs is doing is trying to find a token that it can align to get back home. But it's not quite managing that successfully. Sherborne, they've got a bronze as well. If they just let it go, they'll get more points and hope they can go off and grab something else.
And there we go. Over that line. That's a nice set of 3 points. Oh, and no, it comes back. Fantastic. 40 seconds there. Come on, Sherborne. You can sort yourselves out. In the meantime, the Godalming College robot is again just driving straight into our arena wall there, which is clearly the pre-recorded flow of steps has run out, which is sort of one of the problems with this. You can do a lot. You might be able to do it semi-accurately, but once you run out, you run out. They could do it in a loop, but at that point, the second iteration round is just going to be random noise. Now, King of his robot, it looks like they might be trying to steal the Sherborne team.
This could be a big upset.
Token. This could be. There's 3 seconds. Is it going anywhere? No. Very, very lucky. Lucky for the Sherborne school there. That is
in their robot.
2 gold tokens for them. Now, what I do want to look at is if you look at the top of our arena, there is a silver token. Was it over the line? No, it wasn't. No. That is entirely inside the gold team's, inside Wisbeaks Grammar School's starting zone. That gives them all of the points for that silver token. They don't need, it doesn't end up going to Godalming School there. That is a shame. Wisbeaks Grammar School there, 100. A very nice round, albeit very big number. 100 game points for them. Kegs Chelmsford in with 98, just 2 points below. Sherborne with 80, and towards the bottom there, Godalming with just 22.
Coming up next, we have Westminster City School. They'll be appearing in green. We have RGS Guildford. They will be appearing in orange. A very magenta-flavoured LGS appearing there. And we have SOG St Olaf's in yellow. They'll be starting this next match coming up very shortly. SOG are doing actual control theory here. We'll see how well that works for them. I'm going to be kind of keeping an eye on them this match, I think. They're doing control. They're doing control theory to more precisely move around. And actually, you can see, if you look at that grab they just did there, some really quite precise movements from them. Now, that's not enough. You need to have some strategy in there as well, but it's interesting to see. We do see 3 robots now conglomerating in the zone of RGS. They do spread out. RGS are going for some bronzes, stealing them from Langley. Can they get them back? Yes! Looks like a yes. Langley, I'm not sure what they're doing.
Did it sound like a yes? I'm not sure.
They're lined up on a silver, but they're not actually able to do anything with it at the moment, it looks like. Westminster City School pushed up against the wall, grabbing a phantom token, but unfortunately there's nothing there for them to grab.
St. Ola's, however, grabbing an actual bronze token, nicely depositing depositing it into their scoring zone, almost getting a second out of the Westminster City Schools zone, but not. Oh no, and there it is, dropped down very, very nicely there.
Yeah. So now I've again a state machine robot, which is generally pretty robust. Actually, the thing that makes it most obvious when robots are doing control rather than just fixed movement is there's a lot of variation in how fast the robot moves. And you can see this if you have a look at some RS robot as it moves around, which it stops doing as I talk because Murphy's Law is a thing. But as it moves around, you can see it just kind of adjusting to what it needs to do. It slows down and speeds up to try and keep a straight line, whereas other robots tend to just set a speed and go for a bit. Now, there are 4 tokens held there by RGS, holding 4 tokens at once. I'm not sure what entirely they're going for there, other than getting into a fight with Westminster City School, who seem very scrappy. Having touched
quite the
those
fight
tokens,
going on up there.
Yeah, if the tokens are in a robot, they're not in a zone, and they're worth fewer points. But those are the tokens that are property of RGS either way. A lot of tokens have seemed to end up in RGS's zone, possibly just because there's so much stuff going on there. Everyone decided this round was going to be the party at RGS's house round.
I mean, you say party, to me it almost looks like bullying. We've got the LGS and Westminster's robot just cornering them.
Yeah, a little messy up there. All a bit of a multi-robot pile up in the top right corner there.
Yeah, that's unfortunate to see, but it's still a valiant performance from all the teams. There are lots and lots of tokens in St. Olaf's corner there. So it'll be very interesting to see how that adapts into the scores. So there we go. We can see them now. 106 points for St. Olaf's. RGS Guildford's on 100 points. Langley Grammar School 64. And Westminster School on 58.
Coming up in the next match, we have Wisbeach. They are in green. They'll be facing off against Barton Peveril in orange. Harris Westminster, they'll be in the magenta.
Pink. It's pink.
Magenta! And then MAI, they'll be appearing in yellow, which at least we can agree on the colour of.
That's green. Yellow is green. Green is yellow.
The black
colours are a lie.
At all.
I don't bow down to big colour.
Yeah, MAI's got a really interesting little trick to make them zone independent, which I'll talk about in the course of this match. But yeah,
it's a very interesting strategy. Which once we'd seen it, it was, I think you had even only just a few minutes prior said, "Oh, that'd be a really interesting idea," and it turns out MAI were actually doing it.
Yeah. Oh, instant gold there from House Westminster.
Oh, that is
a tussle. They're going to tussle straight afterwards, and they might. But they go for that instant gold. Slightly slower, but still a gold from Wisbeach.
From Wisbeach. Very, very well done from there. Bit of a tussle going on there between MAI and Harris Westminster over the 2 bronzes appeared almost stuck.
Wisbeach looks at the chaos going over there and is just like, nope.
Nope, if I don't look at it, it doesn't exist.
Yeah, I'm just going to kind of do my own thing.
It's a common strategy we see from robots. They see a lot of things going on and they just decide, no, you know what's really interesting? Arena wall marker number 6. Yeah. Very, very interesting. You're enjoying the curvy lines and the colour and the white on blue. It's very, very interesting. Clearly engaging the Barton Peveril College there. Now, we're seeing, there's almost looks like there's a silver token stuck to the right-hand wheel of Wisbeach Grammar robot there, just next to Barton Peveril. They appear to have stopped moving, which isn't ideal, which is not a problem for Harris Westminster, who are driving all over the place in Team MAI's starting zone.
MAI seems to have come to an unfortunate halt.
Yeah, that's quite a shame. Now, their strategy for being rotate zone independent is actually just to change which arena wall markers that it sees.
It maps the arena wall markers that it sees based on the zone it started in, so it always looks like it starts in zone 0. As far as most of the robot's zone is code is concerned. They can just deal with the zone 0 case, and they'll just make everything look like it's zone 0 if they're in a different starting zone, which I think is really clever. Like it just
I like it. I really like it.
makes everything really uniform. It's a very good trick. We've seen other teams do that before. I think we saw, what was the team from Adelaide in Australia that took part in 2021? I think they did that. I think MAI themselves did that in the last virtual competition we did.
I mean,
Well, yeah,
it
it's
clearly
really
works
good.
out for them. We see time and time again that teams don't test in multiple starting zones, and it really bites
zone
them,
0
particularly
curse.
in person competition. The corner 0 curve is very, very strong in Student Robotics. But
Yeah,
it's nice to see MAI have found a very interesting way to get around it.
yeah, test in multiple zones. Right.
Yep, and as the clock strikes 0, 127 points for Team MAI.
They're a really good team.
It's a very nice round number as well.
MAI, for those who don't know, are a team from Germany. They're one of our 2 overseas teams this year. All the other teams are based in England. They've been doing Student Robotics for about 10 years, and they're really good at it.
As we can see, 127 points is a big number.
2 to the 7 minus 1. It's a nice round number as well.
Mm.
Right, coming up next, we have St Olive's, we have Eltham College, we have Kegs, and coming back to show us how it's done, we've got Haberdashers. Now, one thing interesting about Haberdashers, possibly a secret of their success, is something a few teams are doing, but Haberdashers are doing very successfully, is they're using localization, which is when a robot determines where it is. In fact, they're using a form of localization called an extended Kalman filter, which is basically what you use. It's basically how aircraft know where they are, or how GPS receivers know where they are.
It's a very heavy implementation for a college robotics competition.
Yeah, no,
I admire doing it properly.
Yeah, and so like they're just able to be really smart about it because they can just be like, this is here, I'm in this zone, and actually plan out paths.
Yeah, this is going to be very interesting.
And yeah, straight out they go. Their unlucky victims today will be Kegs. Although Kegs are no slouches. I mean, Kegs are off up there grabbing from St Olive's as well. But they're bringing it home.
Yeah, Kegs actually sitting 3rd in our league table at the moment. They are definitely going to be 2 robots that, even if they are sort of battling off against each other, it's going to be very interesting to see how it works. With that said, Kegs are currently sitting spinning, and Haberdashers are stealing as many tokens as they possibly can. It looks like Eltham might be trying to steal one back, so we'll see how that goes. There we go. That's 1 bronze token for them, which is a valiant effort, and it looks like they actually may be going straight for Haberdashers. Now, that's an interesting fact on having tokens sort of quite so clustered together in a scoring zone like this, is it means that another robot can just very easily just almost relay between their own token and that pile and just have another robot deal with collecting them from one scoring zone. You just start tokens just slowly moving around in a direction around our arena. We can see St Olave's and Haberdashers getting very nice collections of tokens there.
I think St Olave's are beating Haberdashers.
I think, for once, you're right.
I mean, it doesn't happen very often.
But you being right, or St Olave's beating Haberdashers?
Haberdashers, we know, are an incredibly good team. But look, I mean, St Olave's dark horses here. They're getting one nicked now by Eltham, if Eltham can pull it off. They do grab 2, which is nice. But yeah, see, I've jinxed it now. What I've done here is I've jinxed it. St Olive's were doing really well, but they've now kind of jammed up a bit, and now everyone else is raiding them. Pull the St Olive's storage. And actually, look, you got
that was funny,
there, right? Eltham is moving tokens over to their own zone and feeding them to Haberdashers,
who then steals them for itself. It's sort of a very menacing conveyor belt of just stealing tokens. If you can time things properly, you just have someone else do all the hard work for you.
Yeah, and that was a high scoring match. That's actually the last time we see Haberdashers, St Olave's, and Kegs today. Final results were 115 points for Haberdashers there, 90 for St. Olave's in their final score there. They really were, well, not cheated, but squeezed out of that final win there. Kegs down to 67 and Eltham College 40.
Now, speaking of squeeze, I do want to have a quick look at these two robots sitting in the green starting zone. How many tokens are being carried here? Now, from our expert panel of marshals, we actually can see that there are no tokens being carried by the orange robot and 2 in control of the green, which means sadly for those 2 silver tokens that are in the control of the green robot, they're only worth a third of their points. They might be physically, quote, in the green starting zone, but sadly because they're in control of the robot and not the arena floor, they're worth much fewer points. So you've got to make sure, don't just grab onto tokens, make sure you have to let them go.
Coming up next, we have RGS. They'll be facing off against the Ladies College and Colliers and Whiz Beach.
Yes, let's see how this goes. I'm very interested to see how RGS and Colliers actually will work. They've performed very, very well in the competition so far. RGS actually sitting 4th in our league table at the moment. And we can see TLC there going straight for Colliers' gold, straight into their scoring zone. Fantastically huge number of points there for them. Sadly, it does mean that another robot, by the looks of it, maybe RGS Guildford, it does make it slightly easier for them to steal it, but it's something nonetheless. Now, Whizbeach's robot, they're nicely... Oh, bit of a tussle there from RGS Guildford's robot. Will they be able to do something? Yes, just about there. Driving, pushing 3 robots at the same time. 3 tokens even at the same time. Now, just getting caught on the central reservation. But still, they've just been able to push one of those bronze tokens over the line, which is some more points for them. And that's what counts. The reason we are here is to score points. Now, RGS, can they line up? There's a bronze token they just out of reach. No. Are they going straight for that gold? No, they've decided the silver token in front of it is much more worth their time. And they might be right. The gold tokens are very big and kind of heavy. They're about the same weight as the silver tokens, but they are a lot larger. So much harder to actually drive around with.
Which is very awkward.
It really is, yeah. And we've got RGS there actually giving points to the Colliers robot, which appears actually to have stopped and frozen whilst wrapped around one of those bronze tokens.
Poor Colliers seem to be having some technical difficulties today.
It is such a shame. I mean, we know teams have been working on these simulated robots since the beginning of the competition back at the end of October. And we've seen some incredible performances from actually quite a few teams, but some are having a few bugs. Now, it might be that they've taken the strategy to put a lot more of their resources towards the physical competition. But like we say, the league table that we have for today is the exact same league table for the one that's in the competition. So, for example, at the moment, Haberdashers are starting 48 league points and 567 game points ahead of everyone who has not competed yet, which is actually quite a few teams yet who are yet to actually submit and score any points.
At the end
of
and
there
we
go. Match 15 is over.
And that is the last we'll be seeing of RGS and Colliers today. So we'll have to see how they do at the physical competition. But at the end of that match, the scores are 115. Correction. We'll get you some scores for that in just a moment.
Yes, in the meantime, let's have a quick look at the top teams in our... Oh, there we go. Match 15 results. We have the Ladies College Guernsey with 97, Wisbeach Grammar School with 83, RGS Guildford are on 74, and just below them with 64 in the pink, and I will stand it by it being pink, is Team Colliers. Now, let's have a quick run through of the top positions in our league table very quickly. We have Haberdashers right up the top, 567 game points. Kegs with 356. SR2023 is with QMC, and in fourth we have RGS Guildford, 232 game points and 32 league points. Match number 16 is coming up, Alistair. Who do we have?
We have, coming up in this match, we have Harris Westminster, we have Tiffin School, Peter Simmons, and Eltham College. Eltham College and Harris Westminster, they immediately go for a bit of a conflict because they're both going for the gold that originated in Harris Westminster's corners. But Eltham back off. They go back down to their own zone, not quite sure they're doing there, lining up for some tokens which don't quite exist. Peter Simmons, we do see them grabbing a bronze in their own zone. Not quite sure what the strategy is there. They need to go over probably to Eltham College's zone to score some points. Up in the top right, in the zone of Tiffin School, Tiffin's robot seems to be fairly static. We haven't seen a lot from Tiffin today, just somewhat unfortunate. Harris Westminster, they're in their zone. They're lining up to steal that silver if they can grab it, but they're preempted because Eltham College have crossed over to the diagonally opposite team to grab that bronze, see if they can bring it back home now. At the moment, they're sitting in the zone of Harris Westminster. They need to get it all the way back home for those final points. Peter Simmons are now managing to go and steal some points. They're grabbing bronzes. They're grabbing them from the Eltham College zone. Can they drop that off? I'm sure they can. Yes, they do. Now they can line up for another. Some signs of life from Harris Westminster, who are really, really struggling to figure out where they are. I suspect what they're looking for is how to get home, and they're not quite seeing it. But if they do see that, they'll be able to push that silver token there, score some points that way. Peter Simmons, they're heading up, they're grabbing. Peter Simmons are successfully doing the fetch quest strategy. They see a token, they go and grab it, rinse, repeat. Right, Tiffin School. Movement, which I did not expect because they froze up. Tiffin School are just kind of sit around for a while, quite frequently.
They also seem to be driving backwards.
Yeah, it's the playing dead strategy from Tiffin. They are now fighting that gold. Maybe they're going for that gold steal. No, they just want to go and ram Eltham. They're going beast mode here.
Yeah, very much so. I'm seeing there's a lot of movement. Peter Simmons, it's very hard to tell because of the perspective on the arena, but there's quite a few tokens sitting in the bottom of their scoring zone. That's going to give them a lot of points. They've got 15 seconds to potentially try and get some more, lining up maybe towards some of the ones at Eltham's scoring zone, but a few seconds left, maybe not quite fast enough, he says as they grab a silver. Can they orient it back? No, not quite. Sadly, no. But they did win the round by the looks of it.
Yep, so final scores in that round, that's Peter Simmons, 95 points. Tiffin 88, Harris Westminster 73, and Eltham 64, which is our final. Was our final match from Peter Simmons and Harris Westminster today.
Yes, very strong performances there from all of the teams. Very interesting match.
Yep. Coming up next, we have the Ladies' College. They'll be against Sherborne, they'll be against Hampton, and they'll be against Westminster City. Hampton Westminster City, I get the impression they're relatively robustly written code. They're using state machines. It's nice. Sherborne, they're still very keen on their goals, but it hasn't. It's a strategy, but it hasn't.
They're not quite paying off for
middle of the pack, but a gold strategy can be a massive game winner every time, and it's a credit that it hasn't been a complete flop, but they're not winning every round.
No, they're not, but they're still doing pretty well. So match number 17, here we go. Very quick up the line there, Sherborne, and actually all robots there very nicely. We have Hampton School, it seems, going straight for the goal, potentially mirroring Sherborne School's strategy. Sherborne actually stealing their own goal, which is not actually the best of strategies. Hampton School, however, have actually taken their opponents, which is great to see. The Ladies' College Guernsey now, it looks like lining up towards some of the tokens inside Sherborne's arena, sadly grabbing one of these phantom tokens as opposed to a real one. Phantom tokens worth exactly 0 points and just very entertaining to commentate about. Now, Hampton School there lining up. They almost grabbed 2 silvers at once, which would have been nice and efficient, but sadly, no, just missed out. Westminster School now lodging themselves onto, wedging themselves against that gold token. It'll be interesting to see exactly how that does come the end of the points on the scoring matches. So we'll have to see how that pans out in the final minute and a half of this. In the meantime, Sherborne School down there in the pink corner, they have a bronze, slowly moving it towards their scoring zone. It'll be interesting to see how that does and whether they can push it over the line in 1 minute and 13 seconds left. So, Hampton School there now, just letting go of a bronze token. It is in their scoring zone, which is good, so they at least get the points. And just lining up towards one of the ones from Westminster City's College, instead giving it to the Ladies' College Guernsey, which is, and then promptly stealing it, potentially in some kind of taunting fashion, to give it to the Ladies' College, only to steal it back and apparently give it back to Westminster, which is interesting. I stand corrected. They are pushing it, lining them up, whether accidentally or otherwise, trying to steal some of the tokens there. Very, very interesting reporting there. So, Hampton School now, they have a silver. It looks like there's a few just underneath the arena wall there, which could be right up for the taking there by Hamptons. In the meantime, Sherborne School still up there. They have 2 gold tokens in their scoring zone, which is a huge 60 points for those tokens.
I'm wondering what's going on with the gold token up in TLC. Like, has WMC got that gold token or not?
I don't know. I think what I want to do is I want to have a look. Is the gold token in the yellow zone? I think we might need to look a little bit closer. That is shadow projection. That is no.
Does not cross the line. So there you go. Final scores from that match then. Sherborne 115, Hampton 100, TLC 73, and Westminster City 40.
The fact that we're having to drop down to what is basically pixel peeping at this point for some of these matches to find out how close they are, that's pretty cool. It's something that I can safely say is much easier in a simulator than it is in person. Like, it's quite hard to pixel peep on reality. Reality doesn't really have pixels in the same sense.
Well, I guess it's the individual threads of the carpet.
Yeah, I mean, or we could just grab an electron microscope and just go from there. Might blow our budget a little bit, but we know with 100% certainty where it sits.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to start defining those kind of things in the rules, though.
Very stressed marshals. Right, coming up, match number 18, we've got Eltham College, we've got QMC, we've got WGS, and we have Langley. And off they all go. Very quick movement straight over to that gold from Eltham, as expected. Another gold grab from Queen Mary's College. So we've got some gold rotations going on here. Not quite sure what's going on with Langley, but Wisbeach, they get the gold as well. This is the all golds round apparently. We've almost gone for a full gold rotation here. I mean, Eltham were just the lucky ones because Langley didn't manage to get their gold. I'm not quite sure what Eltham's doing with their gold now, but hopefully they don't hold it because that would significantly decrease its value. Although they do have another one in their zone, so they're still doing quite well. Wisbeach now going for the slower token moving situation. They have silver in their jaws. They have a bronze attached to the robot as well, sort of wedged between the grabber and the outer shell. Queen Mary's, they're lining up on that gold once again. Not quite sure what the strategy is there. Eltham have grabbed their gold. They've re-grabbed the gold. I'm not sure what entirely they want to do with that.
Give it to their opponent by the looks of it. That gold token sitting very much on the line there between Eltham and Langley. It's not ambiguous. It's very much in both. But
what strategy was that?
Kindness? You can't fight your opponents with love. It doesn't work in Student Robotics. They are, however, the only robots still moving.
contempt.
Hate and contempt. Yeah, that is Student Robotics.
Well, they're grabbing some bronzes now. They are going from Queen Mary's. We've got very few signs of life from the other robots. I mean, they started as a really, really high-scoring round with that. Oh, yeah. Now we've gone for a full gold rotation.
Fantastic. Just if everyone wanted someone else's gold token.
All of that work to get us exactly to the same as the starting point.
Differently equal.
Yes. It's an interesting strategy. Let's see if it pays out for them. We've got one Mo robot moving here. Elton College. Hopefully they can get another couple of points here. But no signs of life from Langley, who are lined up on a Phantom token. No signs of life from Queen Mary's, who are touching their gold, it looks like. And unfortunately, no signs of life from Wisbeach, who are sitting there next to a gold.
Oh, where's that?
Oh!
What on earth happened with that bronze? Oh
Surprise,
my goodness. We are going to need a close-up for that. That was a very quick movement off the line from them. That's in both.
Yep. It's over the line.
That's over the line. That was
Yep.
easily less than half a second. That was very, very close call. Very well done, Elton there.
This was actually a very, very close match with all of that, which I guess is not particularly surprising. Final results, Langley 88, Eltham 85, Queen Mary's 82, and Wisbeach 76.
So 12 points separates the entire pack. That is a very, very close match. We've seen some particularly interesting scoring matches, some very one-sided, others much less so. And I think as we move into our final match of the day, actually, between Team MAI, Westminster School, Tiffin School, and Headington, these are going to be particularly interesting. Alistair, which teams are you particularly interested by?
Well, I'm always a follower of MAI, but I don't know. Tiffin have been an interesting team. Like all their vision stuff, I did not expect anything quite as complicated as doing actual vision for this simulator. So for me, it's kind of the MAI Tiffin balance here.
Well, let's see. They are starting on opposite ends of our arena, but let's see how they go. Very quick token movement off the line. Actually, from all of them, we have Headington going for the gold. Gymnasium at Aerosol taking 3 tokens. We have a bunch of others stolen by Tiffin and by Westminster. Very, very quick scoring off the line there. And that's 2 gold tokens for Headington. In the meantime, MAI almost giving their opponents a bronze, but fortunately they stopped themselves just in time. Now, Headington there, it looks like they might... There we go. That's 3 tokens for them. 2 bronze, 1 silver. Very, very, very efficient movement out of them. Tiffin School just herding their tokens together, not exactly trying to take any or steal any, just moving them around by the looks of it. A bit of a tussle there from Headington and from Westminster, throwing tokens there around Headington's thing, just clearly just trying to make it as messy as possible for them. Although that does make it harder for Westminster to actually go and steal their opponent's tokens, but each to their own. Now, some very quick movement from them. We've seen quite often teams will go, yes, drive at full power, very Clarkson style. But you do, as your motors move faster, you do lose accuracy. And so sometimes, as the old anecdote goes, slow and steady can win the race, even if it is a much more boring race to watch and commentate.
Well, I'm not quite sure what Tiffin's doing with a strange crab walk here.
No, and Westminster School, I don't know what they're going for either.
Yeah, is this some Tiffin Westminster dance routine that
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure this is... We've transitioned from Student Robotics into Strictly Come Dancing, by the looks of it. Like, I don't entirely know what this is, but I'm expecting a commentator to go, and now, Dancing the Foxtrot is...
Strictly Come Roboting? Question mark? No, I don't think the BBC will commission that one.
No. Anyone from the BBC, if you are listening, please let us know.
Robot dancing is a thing. Just probably not intentionally and probably not in this match. It's all seeming rather frozen at this point.
All quiet on the robotics front, sadly.
Just so. Got about 5 seconds to go for this last match of our virtual competition. Will there be signs of life? Alas, no. Well, still, good result. Smart teams.
Yes.
Scores-
Now,
No,
there
no,
is. It says matches resuming at 12:30. No, they're not. We'll ignore that. But what I want to look at is the yellow robot. Yeah, it's got a token. Is that in its control? No.
No, because
Yellow.
it's basically yeah. So that's in the robot. That counts as points for the robot. So, final scores there for our final match. That is Headington School 115, Tiffin 88, Westminster City 73, and MAI only 52 in that last match. So, congratulations to all the teams. That was a really good competition. That was really fun to watch. Some great games there. Some slightly hairy moments. Some questionable pushing and pulling. Let's have a look at the state of the league at the end of these first 20 matches of the competition season.
Yes, let's start right at the top. As we sort of expected, due to a little bit of insider knowledge, Haberdash is right at the top. 48 league points, 567 game points. Those are some pretty big numbers. I think that goes to show A, the performance of their robot, but B, actually just having 16 extra league points can actually make quite a lot of difference when you're starting off some of these matches. In second, we have Queen Mary's College, Team QMC. In third, we have Chelmsford Grammar School, again 40 league points, but because QMC had more game points, that is what split the tie. In fourth, just 1 league point below, we have Headington. Sherborne 1 league point below that with 38, 354 game points. In sixth, we have RGS Guildford, 36 league points, 306 game points. It's very suspiciously close together there, but I do appreciate it nonetheless. 34 league points is where we find Eltham College in position number 7. Gymnasiumacht Indersdorf, Team MAI, 32 league points, 367 game points. Tiffin School again on 32, but slightly fewer game points, so that splits the tie and puts them in 9th place. 10th place, we have Peter Simmons School, 30 game points, 321 league points. I'm still not getting used to the fact that these league game point numbers after 20 matches are quite so high. In position number 11, Harris Westminster Sixth Form School, again with 219 league points. Game points even. 28 game points is what we find Barton Peveril. And again, Westminster City School on 28 game point league points, 202 game points. Hampton School, followed by Barton Peveril. No, Hampton School followed by Wisbeach Grammar School, St. Olave's, TLC. Oh, we have a 4-way. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. A 5-way tie on game points on league points. Sorry, 22 apiece. That's very interesting there. So we have 359 points for Wisbeach, 340 for St. Olave's, 311 for TLC, 260 for Colliers, and 214 for Godalming. Now, slightly further down there, we have Langley Grammar School just at the bottom there. 17 league points, 283 game points. That's quite a few game points. Now, moving on here, we're moving down to the teams that sadly were not able to enter anything for the virtual competition. That's unfortunate. We hope to see them as we move into the physical competition. However, there's nice shows. We have Abingdon and Hills Road nicely topping the pack out there, showing how valuable those league points scored from the challenges actually are. That's 16 extra league points, which is what? The equivalent of winning 2 extra matches. That's going to help them out quite a lot when we come into the physical competition. Ruth and School and Silcoats down on 8. And sadly, the other teams with 0 game and 0 league points. And we hope to see them with the physical competition in only... I don't want to think how close it is actually. Only, what, 4 weeks' time?
About 5, yeah.
5 weeks' time.
Unnervingly close.
Very much so, yes. Now, notable changes from before. Now, because we've had quite a few teams competing today, all starting actually with varying levels of points. We have some with 0 league points, some with 8, and some with 16. The whole table has completely flipped, but needless to say that teams who have done challenges are definitely, those 16 extra league points are going to be massively helpful for them as we move into this. So, there we have it. That is the end of the virtual competition for Student Robotics 2022. We've seen some very, very interesting robots, very interesting matches, and I don't know about you, Alistair, but I'm very much looking forward to seeing what the physical competition has in store.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a lot of variety today, and that's just with all the robots being, having exactly the same electronics, having exactly the same mechanical design. So I'm really, really looking forward to the variety. And I also thought the standard was actually very high today. There were some teams doing some really, really clever things today. Particularly our current league winners, Haberdashers. I've been terribly impressed with them, but not by no means only them. Like there were some really good robots today. So I'm looking forward tremendously to seeing what everyone pulls off in the physical competition. It should be a really good event. So before we go, just some last minute thank yous. I want to say a huge thank you to the team of Blue Shirts who made the virtual competition happen, the people working behind the scenes. They were up until very late last night getting everything ready. Much appreciated to all of them. They do a terrific job. I want to say thank you as well to our wider pool of Blue Shirts. It's hard work doing these competitions. I think they do great. I want to say a massive thank you to our team leaders. It is not trivial to do all the organizational stuff to get you to these events. They do a lot of work. Show them some appreciation. They're great. And of course, a huge thank you to you, competitors, as well. It's fairly bland and low information to say without you, we couldn't do the event, but without you, we couldn't do the event. Fantastic work to all of you today. This was a really good start to our competition. Next up, it's going to be a tech day on the 11th of March, followed by our physical competition coming up on the 1st of April in Southampton. We're very excited to see all of you there. Good luck to all of you. And that's a goodbye from us. Goodbye.
Goodbye. We wish you the very best of luck.